ones and twos. And I just come here to let y'all know it's about to get real filthy in this mother.
All right. Welcome to episode 49 of In Todd We Trust. We have TR on here today. You can access the podcast on itwtpodcast.com for spoilers-free one-sentence reviews and movie ratings, episode descriptions, song of the week playlist, movie soundtrack playlist, and a submission form to be a guest on the show. You can listen to the podcast on Spotify and Apple Podcasts on Thursdays and watch on YouTube as well. Like I said, we have TR on here today. What's happening?
How you doing, Todd? Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Long time coming. I know we've been talking about it for a while and finally found a movie to do. I know we switched up movies yesterday. I couldn't find a theater either. We were going to do Motherless Brooklyn, and it's only at like select theaters at weird times.
Yeah, I looked and I was like, I could not find it anywhere. I was like,
Yeah.
God, I hate to do this.
Yeah.
I saw Terminator this weekend, so I hope that's okay.
Yeah, it worked. It worked. And honestly, I think more people will be excited about Terminator anyway, because I was mentioning to a couple people, like, asked me, what are you doing this week? And I said, Motherless Brooklyn. And they're like, what is that? And I'm, I was like, it looks like it might be all right, but it's a slow week for movies. But Terminator came out. Known you for several years, obviously. Got to really know you when we had class together. I know we had like a couple classes together in school. And the first of which I did horrible. I remember it was an ISP class. Anything that starts with an I at MSU sucks. Like that class is gonna suck. IH, ISS, ISP, all of them, the prereqs. It was about Earth and environment or something. I hated it so much. I remember it vividly because I remember the lecture hall. Like, I hated that. I remember the guy it was super dimly lit, so I was always sleepy in there. I'm like, this is already a super boring class it was about natural disasters. That's exactly what it was. It was about natural disasters. I remember throwing the book away recently when I was moving. I found it and I was like, oh my God, I just wanted to burn it. I just got mad all over again. I already graduated, but just was pissed. TR actually also helped, for those of you that know, my first gig out of college was an internship with ESPN events, and TR was the man behind that, helping me get that opportunity.
That's right.
So
that's around Vegas.
Yeah, out in Vegas, man. If someone had told me in college that my first job would be out in Vegas, I would have been like, you're crazy. It completely against my personality, but I had a good time. I loved the weather, so
awesome.
It was an amazing opportunity. And then last night, so the MSU game, that was an ESPN event, wasn't it?
It was. That was my old team, our old team that put it on. Pete, Stephanie,
Okay, nice.
Yeah, they're the ones that started that. I don't even know how many years ago.
Nice.
And they got it all lined up this year, 1, 2, 3, and 4.
Man, I mean, they couldn't ask for a better turn. When did they? I'm sure they started that before the AP polls came out.
Yeah, I think it's been years. I don't even know how many, but yeah,
it's insane.
They picked the good 4 teams to run with for sure.
And granted, if you pick those 4 teams, they're going to be top 10 teams every year in and year out most of the time. But to get 1, 2, 3, 4, I mean, they couldn't ask for a better turnout. How old is Pete now?
Man, I don't even know. I feel like he doesn't age.
Yeah, right.
He's an ageless man. He's just like
he got to 58 and stopped.
And just stopped. Yeah.
Oh man. Yeah, I saw that last night when the game came out to ESPN. And I was like, oh, okay, I didn't know we did the State Farm Classic. Or as I saw it, I was like, I remembered that we did that one. Then I remember the huge one a couple years, the PK. That was
PK,
huge.
Jimmy V. Yeah, they do a lot of good ones.
That was good. The Wooden Classic, obviously.
Yeah.
They have a couple good ones. I wonder if I gotta go on their website. See, I wonder if they've added some stuff.
I think they have. They're dabbling in other things.
Okay.
But yeah, it was a perfect step for us. First step in sports marketing out of college. You can't really.
Oh, that was awesome.
ESPN ads. It's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, it definitely helped jumpstart going into other places. So, did you go to the Forbes 30 for 30?
I did.
You did? Okay.
Did you go?
I didn't. So here's what's funny is I was on Instagram and I'm seeing like celebrities as well as people I know at like this Forbes 30 for 30, and I'm just assuming that it's not in Detroit. Like, I mean, knowing before I started seeing people tag Detroit, I was like, oh, it's probably like in LA, it's probably in New York, something, wherever, huge market. And not to diss Detroit, because Detroit is definitely getting there. But so I was in Detroit, and now I wish I was there more so because I saw Olivia Munn was there, and I love Olivia Munn. So
she's great. It took a lot of work to get it here too.
Yeah,
that's what I do sponsorships over at Rock and Quicken.
Right.
And so we had it was like a year-long process worth of Forbes to get it here out of Boston. So they was at Boston. Yeah.
Okay.
So we were title sponsors.
Nice.
Yeah, Olivia was a sweetheart. She's
yeah. Did you get to meet her and stuff?
I did. Yeah.
Oh, man.
Chainsmokers. I didn't meet 21 Savage. That's the one I missed. Who else was there? There's a few others, but it was crazy. How many people just like walk around? There's like celebrities, CEOs.
Man, nice. I should have got on that. I should have made my way there. The tickets were crazy though, weren't they? I mean, obviously I know you didn't pay to get in, but like for the what were they, like 600 or something like that?
I'll get you next
yeah, all right, yeah. I know who to hit up now. I know who to hit up.
Yeah.
And then what was that? What else was I about to ask you? Oh, I saw a preview for not a preview. A commercial for. Do you like Sprite? Are you a Sprite guy?
I when I drink Sprite, when I drink pop, it's either Sprite or Dr. Pepper.
Okay,
not often,
yeah.
But if I do,
me too. Yeah, I'm not a huge soda guy at all. But I saw Sprite Cranberries coming back. I was excited about that. I don't know who else is excited about that. And I know we were chatting about obviously the MSU game before we started. How do you feel about MSU's team this year? Like, are you into the hype? Are they going all the way?
We talked about it. They're a good team. They are. Big hit with Langford out.
Yep.
But I mean, like we were talking about, got to get chip on the shoulder again.
Yeah.
Act like, I'm sure we're going to fall after this, not to be number one anymore, but we just got to bounce back and have that chip on our shoulder. And we've got a great team.
Yeah, we do.
It, so Cash just can't do everything, as you said.
Yeah, he can't. I know those guys are young, so I know they're going to come around. I know that, we're not going to, the refs aren't going to call a million fouls on us in the first 10 minutes every game. So I know we'll be all right, but would have liked to get that dub last night. The good thing about basketball, though, is that one loss, two losses don't make or break you like football, where, especially with the CFP playoffs and everything now, I mean, you lose one game, and it's like you might as well hit the restart button.
It's like burning. Season's over.
Yeah, it's insane now, and it's because of that CFP. It's because of the playoffs. Because before the playoffs, the other bowl games had more significance.
Yeah, I think they football going to you got to expand to 8.
Yeah,
got to be an 18.
Yeah, they got to expand. They got to do something because unfortunately, because the way it's set up, with these teams that lose a game, if you are an elite team and that's where you view yourself, you do feel like your season's over. Where before, like going to the Rose Bowl, for instance, when we went to the Rose Bowl in 14, that was like the pinnacle.
Yeah,
and it wasn't the national championship. That was the best thing that you could do. If it wasn't the national championship, the Rose Bowl was the best you could do as a Big Ten team or Pac-12 team. Now, if the Rose Bowl is in a playoff game, I mean, it's like you're pissed. There's teams that are like, they feel snubbed. They're in the Rose Bowl. I'm like, what? So the dynamic has completely changed. And then don't even mention the Outback Bowl and the Capital Ones, and I mean those are like,
go.
Yeah, I mean,
and
guys
not going.
Seniors
not playing.
Yeah, but the seniors literally aren't going. Like they're literally not playing. So it is insane, man. But yeah. So song of the week.
Yeah.
Before we get into the movie, did you have a song of the week, or if you could think of one off the top of your head that you're feeling?
Mine.
If you want me to go first, I can. So you can think.
What am I listening to this week? What is it? It is. I have usually a workout song of the week and then a slower song of the week. I like Sleeping on My Own by, what is it, Jeffrey? It's pretty good.
I'm going to check that out.
I like it.
Haven't heard that. That's a slower one, I'm assuming?
Yeah, it's a slower one.
I'm about to say, I can't think of Sleeping on My Own being a fast song.
Exactly. It's just a chill. Nice. And then the other one, Anything with the Baby.
Oh yeah.
Anything.
He can't go wrong.
Can't go wrong.
Yeah, that's a perfect. I feel like I can have a full DaBaby playlist for working out.
Yeah,
you
can. Perfect.
Are you working out? Are you going to the Y right now?
It's awful. It's awful.
It is bad.
I don't want to I don't know if anyone works out there, but it's just you can't go. I was on the weirdest whacked out schedule. I would wake up at 8 a.m., go to work to 5 or 6. Then I'd go back home, sleep till 8 p.m.
Yeah.
Then go to the gym from 8 p.m. to 10.
Oh yeah, that is wacky.
Because you can't go 5 to 7. Yeah. There's lines. It's you're waiting for a club.
Oh my god! And I can only imagine now that all of Quicken Loans is going there now. Because before it was I used to teach group classes over there, and what was that? I started in December and then went till April. I was teaching group classes there, and I had a free membership. And I would leave there and then walk over to the Quicken Loans gym to work out, even though it was cold. I didn't care. I would put my snow boots back on because one, they don't have enough equipment.
Yeah.
They have like 1 or 2 squat racks.
Exactly.
I'm like, what are we supposed to do with this? And you have all these people. Yeah, it's terrible. It's horrible.
It is, yeah.
My song of the week is "Don't Start Now" by Dua Lipa.
Okay.
So yeah, she's definitely in my top 10 celebs crushes. I'm not necessarily a huge fan of her music. She's talented, but her music just isn't necessarily for me. But this song is a jam. It's a good workout, fast song. It's on my running playlist this week. It's definitely a good jam. I've been dancing to it since last Friday, so definitely check that out if you have not heard it already. I think she might have. I'm assuming this is what she performed at it was the VMAs last. What was the award? I never watch award shows, but I know there was one this past Sunday.
Yeah, I can't remember which one.
Might have been MTV, VMA, whatever it was. But she performed there, and I'm assuming it was this song since this is the new jam.
She's good though. I haven't heard anything from her in a while though.
Yeah,
One
that was
that came out like Electric something.
Yeah. She hadn't dropped
yeah.
something in a minute,
Yeah.
and now this is coming. So I'm assuming an album is coming soon as well.
Nice.
All right, next we have Random Rapid Fire, which
Okay.
is questions that you're not prepared for.
Okay.
All right, here we go. Do you believe time travel will be possible one day?
Yes.
Yes. All right. If you could time travel, where would you go?
I would.
Oh, I'm sorry, not where. I'm sorry.
When?
If you could time travel, would you use it? If that was a possibility.
I can go back, right? I can like go.
You can go. Yeah, you can go back. You can come back to the present.
For sure.
You would definitely use it.
100%, yeah.
Where and when would you go for time travel?
Oh man. Would I be able to stop like catastrophic events or no? Or would you just
Sure. If that's what you're gonna try to do.
something like that?
What would it be?
Oh,
That's
man.
a lot of catastrophic
I know.
events.
Jeez.
I don't know why the first thing that came to mind was you attempting to stop a volcano. I don't know why I was thinking like
Some of
Pompeii. Like
Yeah,
you're
I
like
know,
stop
the
volcano.
dinosaurs, like,
Yeah.
Get a big gallon of water.
Yeah.
Pour it on the- no. I don't know. There's so many bad things. Not even that's what's wrong with
I know.
today's day and age. You can't even pick one.
No, it would be really rough. And then if you pick one, someone would probably just give you like flat. Yeah.
I'm not gonna pick.
Yeah.
One. Yeah, but it's something out that.
Yeah, someone who's like super woke who listens to the podcast would be like, "Wow,
Yeah,
you chose that,
Yeah,
not this other thing."
Exactly. No.
Do you think that machines will take over at some point?
It's a tough one. I mean,
you'd like to say no.
I
but
think they're gonna eat if it's either. I mean, in this movie, like augmented, like half machine, half human. I don't know.
Yeah.
At some point in time, it's gonna get real. Like you see these videos of it, these like
I know
robot animals and the way they like run and get up, and I'm like, what the heck?
Yeah, no, I don't want to. Why would you make that? Why would you make that? We have enough footage out there of like, whether it's Terminator or whatever, where that is not a good idea.
It's not. Yeah.
Which one of your family members or friends would you choose to protect you from a killer robot?
Oh man, who would it be? Probably, Luke Volker.
Oh.
Luke Volker.
I haven't met him, but I know he is.
Yeah, that guy. He's one of my close buddies.
All right.
Probably Luke. He takes a bullet for anyone.
All right.
I know he'd take the bullet for me. I do the same to him too, though. So
Nice.
Probably Luke.
What is your go-to slushy flavor when you go to the theaters?
Go-to slushy. Is watermelon? Is that a
Sure.
watermelon?
Yeah.
Probably. I like it.
That sounds good. I don't know if I've had a watermelon slushy. They probably have it at 7-Eleven. I'm sure they do. If you had to rewatch the same movie for the rest of your life, what would it be?
Oh man, probably either Avengers Endgame. I loved it.
Yep.
I loved it. Who's the lucky person that got to review that one?
Darian.
Darian was.
Yeah, Darian.
that
Yeah.
one's good.
He's like my unofficial Marvel correspondent.
Yeah. I'm
for
a
movies.
big Marvel guy.
Yeah.
Love Marvel.
Yeah.
That or I like probably Wolf on Wall Street.
Wolf of Wall Street.
Yeah. I hate to say that.
I get it right.
I'm gonna get flack for that.
I know, right?
Yeah.
You're definitely getting flagged for that one. I need to rewatch that. I watched it one time and it's just so long.
Yeah.
I did like it. I need to rewatch it. Definitely a great Leo film. Leo performance. All right, so getting into this movie. IMDb description: Sarah Connor, and a hybrid cyborg human must protect a young girl from a newly modified liquid Terminator from the future. It was released November 1st. Notable cast: Linda Hamilton reprising her role as Sarah Connor, Arnold Schwarzenegger, obviously, Mackenzie Davis, who was also in Tully, which is an odd movie that came out did it come out last year or 2 years ago? Last year. And Natalia Reyes, who is the young girl that they're protecting. Director for this was Tim Miller, who also did Deadpool. And then main writer for it was James Cameron. most famous for Titanic and the Avatar series. Did you know that they had already confirmed not only the second Avatar that's obviously coming, but 3, 4, and 5? Like they already are in. They're
5
already
Avatars.
Yes, so they already have confirmed that there's going to be 5. The first 2 and 3 are already in production. Yeah, like our post production.
Yeah,
and then 4 and 5 they're still developing, but then they haven't started shooting yet. But I'm like, how did
come out? Well, that confuses me because it's been such a long window.
I know, and now these other ones are coming out like back to back to back, which is crazy because I'm like, how do you get
the timing doesn't really make sense. I mean,
at all. Like I think the 5th one comes out 2027, so you gotta think they're putting 4 out.
When's the next one come out?
Let me see. I'm about to look it up right now.
That'll break whatever record.
The last one. It comes out next year.
Or whatever.
Oh no, it comes out. Avatar 2 comes out December 17th, 2021. So between 2021 and 2027, 4 of them are coming out.
That's crazy.
Which is just, again, because of the gap. The first one came out, what was that, like 2009 or something like that? So,
yeah. Star Wars.
They're doing it like that. So it's just a money grab. And to me, it's crazy that they're approving a 5th one when they don't know if like the 3rd one might do really bad or
that always happens. You're gonna have one that. Like,
so one of them's gonna be bad, right? 5.
Yeah.
You can't name me a movie that has 5 where all of them are equally as great.
Yeah. No,
that's tough to do. So that's coming out, and then obviously James Cameron has done the Terminator series, so he has some good stuff on the resume. We'll see what he does, man. We'll see what he does because. I'm very interested to see how they're gonna make 4 additional avatars. Cause that seemed like a one-off to me. That seemed like a
one great iconic film.
Just leave it.
Now this might kill like the legacy of it.
And I was gonna talk about that too. This podcast is talking about how you gotta know when to fold. You gotta know when to fold with stuff. And the movie runtime 2 hours and 8 minutes. Going into the movie, what were you thinking?
I actually had no expectations.
Okay, that's a good way to approach it.
My mom, the sweet Nancy Hollis, she was like, "We're going to see Terminator." I was like, "What?" And I was like, "Okay," and really I didn't even know I forgot kind of what the last 2 movies,
right?
Like the plot and the whole what happened,
right?
And so I just like went in kind of blind.
Yeah.
But as the movie went, I mean, it's sort of the same structure. Same structure, but instead of like Sarah Connor, it's just this other girl.
Yeah.
And that's like what I liked the tweet. We'll talk about it in a second.
They like twisted it up just a little bit, but same thing with me. So I went to Imagine. That's probably one of the things I love about Detroit the most. I've given Imagine a lot of flack the last couple of weeks because it's like bad customer experiences, but this week had a good experience. I actually went the day before this, so I went to this movie literally today, 2 hours before coming here, and I love the IMAX theater. I don't know if you ever go watching in those, but it's like a huge theater. The sound is good, the quality is good, the heated seats that recline. I mean, you can't get any better than that. But there was a couple in there. So it's just me. It's this huge theater that's like I watched it in this theater to give you a perspective of how big it is. This is where I went the first night of Avengers, and it was in this theater, and it was just me,
massive.
And it's massive, and it's only me today. I went. I mean, it was a matinee, matinee Wednesday showing. It's me and this couple in there, and the couple was like getting handsy and stuff all the way at all the way at the other end, but I could hear them like a little bit, and I was like, all right, like this is awkward. Like one, just go home. 2. There's someone in here on your own, like come on. But anyway,
I bet they walked in. I bet they had that matinee show planned for months. And they walk in and see you.
They're probably pissed.
And they're like, "What the heck?"
They're probably, who is this weirdo at a matinee show by himself?
That's great.
Oh my gosh! But no, full disclosure too for this film, I didn't watch 4 and 5, so I have not seen. I watched the first 3, obviously. I actually remember going to the theater with my dad to see the 3rd one, and then for me, there's some franchise where I'm like, okay, you I don't know how much more you can do. Like, we can see now, like, what happens when, like, in the future. But to me, it was like, if I see it, I see it. And obviously I didn't. And then by the time the 5th one came, I was like the Genesis, I was like, okay, this is, they're going back and forth, changing time. I was like, I'm not going to see it.
There's like an old John Connor and then he dies as a kid. And I'm like, there's all these,
It's different timelines. When you start doing that stuff, it starts getting wacky. So I was like, I'm not going to go see it. But I read up on it a bit, and it seemed like this one I didn't need a lot of, you didn't need a lot of backstory. As long as you knew the premise of Terminator, you go into this one, you don't necessarily need to know the details of. It seems like the franchise has completely forgotten about the 4th one. I think the 4th one had a lot of bad reception, so they just kind of threw that one under the rug.
Was it the one with the same guy from Avatar?
Batman.
Or was it Christian Bale?
Christian Bale, yeah.
Oh, and the guy from Avatar.
And the guy from Avatar, yeah. So, so both of those guys are in it. In that one, they kind of just disregarded.
Yeah, they're like, that never happened.
It never happened. So that, so I was like, okay, cool. If they're acting like that, then I don't need to, go back and watch it. But anyway, didn't sound like I missed much from that one. So, came into this one and was like, I'll take it for what it is. Going into it, the scary reality as I was watching it is the fact that, there are a lot of databases as you're watching, you think about it. They have an insane amount of information about us, like whether it's on our phone alone, there's a ton of information. Like I was actually about to tweet this the other day, and I probably will still tweet it. Like, would you rather take 10 years off of your life or have every snap you've ever sent released to the public? I was like, you have to think about it for a second. Like, how long am I going to live? If someone says you're going to live to be like 115, it'd be like, all right, you can take 10 off. You can take 10 off of that. Because, can you imagine? But all that information is just out there. Yeah. It's somewhere floating around. I don't know. But, and the concept for the Terminator, it becomes increasingly crazy just because computers are smarter. I don't think when they came out with the first Terminator in 1984, that they would imagine where technology would be. Mm-hmm. No one would have ever imagined where. You come up with these crazy things, time travel and all this, but to really know how detailed information that cities, public government would have on us, drones, cameras, at every corner, to be able to track people. I think it is kind of crazy to think about how they didn't have to dramatize a ton in this movie. I guess is my point. Mm-hmm. Outside of obviously having cyborgs and Terminators, a lot of the ways that they tracked them. Very plausible that any human could do to find somebody. So,
unless you put your phone in a bag of potatoes.
Yeah, a bag. Yeah, I wonder
Yeah,
put in a bag. But she said it did have me think does it really block the signals? And I'm like, there's no way.
And Arnold's like, no, that doesn't work.
Yeah,
she's like, shit.
All these years. I feel like Amazon or Apple would be the most likely candidates as far as companies to be responsible for extinction. If there is some artificial intelligence is self-aware, it would definitely be one of those two companies. If they already don't have, they already have an insane amount of information on this, but I don't know. It's just crazy. It's just crazy how much with the digital era, how much you can track.
Our whole lives. Our ancestors were able to see everything that we did.
Everything.
In our life. It's nuts.
Yeah. And I don't even... It's at the point now where, I know a lot of people will, have, the covers over their, camera on their laptop and things like that.
Yeah.
And for me, I'm just at the point where I'm like, they have everything they need to have.
Exactly.
That's not going to change much. They've been watching me for this long. What am I going to be like, oh, now you can't see me? You have enough to, if you want to use it against me in some way.
You got it, yeah.
You got it. Yeah. I'm ruined if you ever decide you just want to unleash everything I've ever said, done.
Exactly.
Anyone is. Which is a whole other conversation about just how celebrities are just getting Dave Chappelle had a really good stand up on it, just talking about how you can't say or do anything because if you pull up anyone's past anything that someone said or done in the past, a mistake someone made, no one's perfect. So if you're human, you're screwed basically.
Exactly.
If someone decides to go back and
you can go back and anyone,
any person,
Kevin Hart,
literally name any human being that's ever lived. They've said or done something that they regret.
Exactly.
No one's perfect. So I hate this culture now where it's you can't make a mistake. And then even if they come out and apologize, it's nope, we have to just cancel them.
Exactly.
Because you made this mistake or said this ignorant comment when you were 12 or 15 or even 25, whatever. Yeah. When I'm 50, I hope I look back at 25 me and say, okay, you were tripping.
Exactly.
Whatever, that's just maturity.
You have to be careful you say.
Always, yeah. I have 49 episodes. There's so many things that I've had to think, and luckily it's not live, so if I ever say anything, I'm
gotta edit that out.
Yeah, I can always edit it out, and then I'm always just so conscious because I'm this is out there. Then I'm putting this out there.
Todd thing.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Yeah. That I knew, in movies where you see certain characters and they're gonna end up dying. Her brother, I just knew he's not for sure. He's not gonna make it.
It's sweetheart, the big buff
guy.
You're no, he's done.
I didn't know he was gonna be done that quick, but he died so quick. It almost was they didn't even have to really give him a backstory.
No.
They talking about him singing and him wanting to go to they didn't have to even do that because he was out of there quick. I knew he was done. And then when the general guy who when she gave him the briefcase, Sarah Connor's contact from the army or whatever, who showed him up that warehouse with
and he just got shot like right away.
He got shot right away. They lit up the whole building, and he was the only one who got shot. I was like, how? They
comes with the chopper.
Yeah, man, and then they didn't even use the thing. Yeah, just in the chest, not in the calf or anything like that. And then they couldn't even use the weapon. So he just went and got killed for no reason. His death was in vain. But yeah, this movie was something. Overall, what did you think about? What did you think about, like, as you're watching it? And obviously, I know it was very similar premise to the other ones. But as you're watching it, were you thinking like, okay, Mom, this is a good pick, or?
It was an average pick.
It was good. It was good action.
It was good action. Arnold surprisingly looked okay.
He did. Yeah,
he did. I was expecting. I've seen a few pictures of Arnold like from a few years ago, and I was like, he can barely walk.
Yeah,
you know,
right.
He's vegan.
Yeah, right.
He's vegan now.
I saw someone. One of my vegan friends sent me, and I always just like I mess with her, like tease her endlessly about being vegan. Yeah, because I'm like, is this so stupid? I just go. I mean, whatever. If she says anything that has to do with like vegetables, I just go in on her. But so she sent me a. He has like a documentary out there put out about
That's what someone just told me.
Yeah, she sent me. She's like, you would really like this, and I was like, oh, really? And I like looked into it, and I was like, oh, F you. Like, I'm not watching this.
Exactly.
So, like,
I don't think I could ever be, but like you see so many athletes now. Yeah, like the entire like O line for like the Titans, Tom Brady.
Really? Oh man, that's crazy.
Crazy how many athletes are. Yeah, Tom Brady looks like he's like 20. He's
right.
Like 50. Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah.
I wonder if there's something behind it, man. I mean, for me, it's less about if it's a good move or not, and more about just like I just don't want to be vegan. I just want to eat. I'm sorry, like I just want to eat meat. Chipotle. Like in Chipotle, I can't.
That's another thing that we need downtown in Chipotle.
Yeah,
it's criminal.
God,
there's no Chipotle.
Do not get me started. Oh my gosh, that's one of the biggest gripes I have with downtown Detroit, because I love living here. I mean, the cold is killing me each season, but I knew that's not like a surprise. I didn't get here and oh shoot, it's cold in Detroit, so obviously grew up in it. But the Chipotle thing, I have to drive out to
30-minute drive.
Yeah, like whether it's Allen Park or Royal Oak or whatever, like I have to drive out to get Chipotle, which is just insane. I feel like it's just such an easy get because there's so many different. And I think that was intentional on Dan's part to put things down here that aren't just like chains. But like I'm like at the same time, man, it's Chipotle. Like it's easy money. If you put a Chipotle down here, it's a wrap. Like it's gonna be a line out the door every day. Chick-fil-A you put down here, it's over. Like it's easy money. So if they put one in, please put one in Midtown Chipotle if you're listening. Any representatives from there. Anyone looking? Yeah, we're waiting, man. Like I promise you, I will keep the lights on there.
Going back to your question, I'll travel forward in time to a time in Chipotle in Detroit.
Same place, just in Chipotle's here. Oh man, what'll really hurt me is if I move at some point and then in Chipotle comes like shortly after. Like when I left East Lansing, when I graduated, they put that Chick-fil-A in Okemos.
Yeah, that's right.
And then now they have one by Lansing Mall. But I mean, I'm talking. It was. Like, I left to go to Vegas in August, and I think it was October of that year they put one in Okemos. I was like, are you kidding me? Like, I've been going to school here for how long? I've gone to that Meijer a million times. Yeah. I'm like, you kidding? So, oh my God. And that's right, and then you went to Okemos High School, right? Yeah. So you're probably thinking, like, man, where was this in high school?
Exactly. I grew up on McDonald's.
You're right.
Kids don't understand.
Right. Oh man, cherish it. If you live in East Lansing, cherish that Chick-fil-A. I know I do. Whenever I go to games, I stop there. I already have plans like this Saturday when I go. Boom, first stop, I'm going there. After the game, I'm going to Chipotle. So that's what I did last. You know what game did I go to? Penn State. Have you been back to a game?
Not this season. No. Not this season. I was going to go to Penn State, but had something at work come up.
Got you.
I went to a Michigan-Notre Dame game. I went to the Michigan-Notre Dame game.
Oh, word?
It was this pouring rain.
Yeah, it was the same day. Yeah. That's right. Oh, yeah, so you felt the same, although it was later in the day.
I got better tickets at, Yeah, so it was just,
That's rough.
But it was...
And Michigan won, which is even
nasty.
I mean, I hate both of them, but like, I hate Michigan more. So that's one of those, like, I would have liked it to have been like a really close game and then Notre Dame edge out. I want to see them beat each other up really bad, but
that was one that Michigan needed, though.
They badly. They needed that.
Who does Michigan play? They lost to Penn State already, right?
They already lost to Penn State. I don't know who they play this week. Probably a scrubby team, and then we play them on the 16th.
And Ohio State's last, right?
Yeah, they play Ohio State last, which that should be.
But if they lose out to Ohio State, that's gonna be looking rough.
That's really bad. Yeah. I mean, here's the thing, and to get off topic here a bit.
We've gone to like vegan Chipotle.
Yeah, vegan. And now going to Michigan football. Colin Cowherd, and I like him sometimes. When he comes to college football, a lot of times I don't like him because he's not that knowledgeable about. I like his opinions, but he's more of a basketball guy. So some of these times when you see these analysts talk about sports that they're not familiar with, you can tell. And he's a huge Harbaugh fan, which also I hate. Anyway, he was talking a bit about how Michigan, they view themselves as this A+ program, like in Ohio State, like in Alabama, like a USC when USC is good. But they're not. In reality, like if you look at their stats, they're not. They in the last 70 years, they only have one national championship. Yeah. That's not, and yet they have this, they're expecting a championship every year. Yeah. And I'm like, where are you getting this data from? Like, you haven't had a Big Ten championship since 2004.
Yeah.
So, like, what makes you think that you should be competing for one every single year?
Yeah.
And again, they're consistently having, 8, 9, 10 wins. So it's not bad. It's a good program. Even though I hate to say that. Yeah, they have an elite program, but you're not this.
It's all dollars and boosters.
Yeah. That's all.
They're in the level of Alabama, Ohio State, and dollars and boosters.
There you go, exactly.
Michigan State doesn't have like a fraction of what they have.
Right.
They have the dollar, so they're underperforming to what they think they are, if that makes sense.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. So I mean, that's really the big issue. And then as far as the Harbaugh criticism, Michigan fans, I'm going to give it to you straight. You're not going to get a better candidate for a coach. He's a good coach. And he's a Michigan guy. Like, you're not going to get another hybrid of a true Michigan guy who's a good coach, high caliber coach. Like, that's what you're going to get. With you're paying them top dollar. You're paying the assistants top dollar. You have enough 4 and 5 stars recruit on the roster to compete. Mm-hmm. It's just not happening. Like, I don't know. I really don't know the answer for you guys, but
there's no fix. It's just,
So I mean, it's really just stick with what you got. He's not doing a bad job.
Yeah.
He's just not doing what you all think Michigan should be doing. But like, again, where are you getting this data from?
Exactly.
Anyway, back to this. Back to whatever we were talking about, the movie. The setting for it. So it's in Mexico City. And so I actually went to Mexico City with Zenith for that World Bowl. Actually, just was chatting with some of the people that work there about the upcoming World Bowl.
Where is it coming here?
I think they just changed it. I don't know if there's public knowledge, but I don't know if anyone listens to this that would like leak it. But Cancun, I think they changed it to Cancun, so that's where it's at now. So we'll see. But Mexico City, I was there. The biggest thing for Mexico City for me, it was a cool city. The language barrier is tough for me. So going to places where there's a huge language barrier, that's tough for me to overcome, just because you're like trying to translate on the phone, and if you're not with someone who knows how to speak it.
Yep.
Like, when I went down there before the event for a walkthrough for a couple days, and I had one of my coworkers who's a good friend of mine. He's been on the podcast a couple times, Joel, and he can speak. He's not super fluent, but enough to where we can get by, right? So having him there was a huge asset. So the next time we went, he didn't come with us, and so it's just like it got to the point, and I was telling him this earlier on the phone. It got to the point where I wasn't even going out to get food. I was just Postmating things because I didn't want to deal with the language barrier. Like, it just is too tough for me to go to like the restaurants and look at the menu and tell them what I want, how much it is. Postmates. So, shout out to technology.
That's great. That's awesome.
So, I was just chilling at the hotel. I mean, I was still going out doing stuff, obviously going to the events, but when it came to food, I was like, I'm too hungry to go and like do this back and forth. Like, I'm starving. But I was really happy that I didn't have to read captions this whole movie. It started out with them speaking Spanish, and it was like subtitles, and I was like, I can't do this the whole movie. And sure enough, it wasn't. I thought it was. I always think it's interesting when movies. The movie didn't take a political stance, but it did mirror like political issues, I guess. With it, like, they're illegally getting across the border, and I just thought that was like interesting that because it wasn't necessary for the plot. Like I think like if she lived in California or Texas or somewhere that wasn't Mexico and she didn't illegally have to get across the border. Obviously, that's a huge topic right now as far as our country. And I just thought that was interesting that they like when movies throw that in there.
Yeah.
It's just like kind of
little political like cues. Like,
yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't get why for.
Exactly.
And now and then also not only did she cross the border illegally, but now she's living in the U.S. illegally. So it's just kind of like now at the end of the movie, so you're just kind of like, what are we doing here, Terminator? Yeah. Like why and why? Like if it was a political movie, then I'd be like, oh okay, they're taking a stance, whatever. But they weren't, so it's kind of like kind of weird misdirection there. Like I said, the action I thought was good. I thought it was weird seeing Arnold as like the Terminator who is now like a human. Like he's now like has feelings.
Like Thanos. And,
right.
like Farmer Thanos. Yeah.
That is exactly what it was like. It was like that. That's a really good example analogy. But yeah, I think that was just kind of odd for me to see like
as a family and it's like a protector. And,
and he's in the
like a carpet business. What is it? Like a drape?
Oh, drapes. Yeah. He does drapes. When they were all he was chatting about the different drapes. He was like suggesting drapes for like a girl's room or something like that. That was pretty funny. But that was kind of odd or whatever. I don't know. But this movie, I get it. You have to try to find, when you get to 6 movies, you got to find a way to make it a little different.
You do, yeah.
I really hope that this is the last one. But it seemed a lot like the second one, to be honest. As far as Terminators go, I think this mirrored the second one a lot. Because honestly, the Terminator was even very, like the metal Terminator, that was very similar to the second movie.
Well, the second movie, it was completely liquid. Is that correct?
Yeah, it was liquid.
So this movie, they just kind of they combined the metal one with the liquid one. And added like 2 in 1. Yeah,
because the metal one was the third one, right? Yeah. The girl, So it was very much like that where they just...
You have like the metal one and the liquid one, but they're like together in one. They can like melt off and they can be separate. Like, what the heck? Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, it was just really, it was odd. And I was thinking, if they're having, one of them, because the girl comes from the future. Mm-hmm. Whatever her name is. What was her name in this movie? I don't know. There's some movies where I just can never remember the characters' names.
Yeah.
Anyway, the cyborg, she comes back. She's like perplexed at how to take this thing out. If there's multiple of these in the future, so why are you so like?
She's like, you can't kill it.
I'm like, what do you mean? So if you can't kill it, then what do you all do in the future? Then like you are just
gonna keep running. Like,
that can't be the move there. So. I don't get that. And then obviously she's like, you can use my core, like if we get this, and I'm like, it took you this long to figure that out, like you knew that the whole time. But that was perplexing. I don't know how many times they can do the Terminator thing. I think after the third one it should have been it. Honestly, if they did the fourth the right way, which clearly they didn't, again I didn't watch it, but based on reviews and based on the fact that they keep making them, I'm assuming the fourth one and the fact that they just completely disregarded that one in the the fifth and the sixth one. If you do that one right, because obviously after the third one you're wondering like, okay, what does the future look like? Because I thought 1 through 3 were really good. What does the future actually look like? If they would have done that one with him in the future and then he somehow ends it, which is again predictable, but everyone wants a good ending, then they could have just left it there. But to keep making them, it just is. I don't.
It's a little exhausting. Like the storylines don't even add up. Now it's like it's a completely separate company, or like it was like one company,
and then she stopped.
Stopped. I can't remember what the company.
Skynet,
and now it's like a
Legion.
Now it's a Legion.
Yeah, which like, Legion sounds sketchy, but But it's like you stop one timeline, so now you all didn't stop this timeline. Now, like basically, like you said, they set this one up. Like this is almost like the first one. They set this one up where we could have another 3. It's like Star Wars. Like if you just want to there's another one. Like you know what I mean. And now they're gonna come back and lead the resistance. Like
at what point does it end?
Yeah. So hopefully the answer is after this one. Although I'm nervous that they might mess around and try to make another one. The way this one ended, I could see them if they wanted to. They left it to where it was like
they could.
If we want to, we'll see what the reception is. This one I saw they lost so far they've lost 100. I want to say it's $130 or plus on this one so far, right. Just because they it's done really bad in the box office from what they were projecting.
Really?
Yeah. So to be honest, it doesn't shock me that people aren't running to the theater to see this.
You can always. It's the same story.
And it's not a big enough franchise to warrant still going. Like Star Wars. These last two have been terrible in my opinion. Now I know some Star Wars and I really like Star Wars, and I know some really big Star Wars fans who have loved them, who really like them. But as far as I'm concerned, I think the last two have been at least not as good as the other 6. So maybe not horrible. I think they're horrible, but definitely not as good as the other 6. This next one that's coming out, not only am I still going to go see it, but a ton of other people are still going to go see it because they're like, this is it.
Because it's Star Wars.
But it's Star Wars. Star Wars is way bigger than Terminator. So Star Wars can afford to do that. If Star Wars in 18 years decides, you know what, we're going to reboot this thing.
Exactly. I'm still
going to go see it. Exactly. And I hated these. So I'm still going to go back and see it. Terminator is not on that level. So no. I don't know if James Cameron is just getting cocky with the avatars or what's happening. Is he going to try to reboot Titanic and there's going to be another boat? Like, I don't know. But definitely needs to take a seat here and humble himself with that he got away with 6. Also, I think there's a better way for a Terminator to come back, and instead of just causing mass hysteria and killing a bunch of people, like, why don't you maybe just like throw some poison in some food or something? Like, they come back and they just completely mess up all this. I mean, the death toll at the end of this movie was just from the Terminator alone was at least 150, something like that. Like, there has to be easier ways to, like, again, poison food.
The plan of action isn't very thought out.
No,
on either end.
No, on either end. No, just horrible.
Like, why do you like? First of all, like Sarah Connor, like you went back when John was like a baby,
right?
Like now she's like a full-grown adult,
right?
Like, I don't know how hard it's gonna be, and also I don't know when they like. How do they both know like that they're gonna send someone back?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, they're not working together.
No.
I don't know what the time travel, like, if it's like an energy pulse, but like,
man, I
know that they both like travel back at the same time.
Yeah.
That's weird.
I was gonna, oh, lights off. Let's see, dude, we just got a wave. There we go. Motion sensor. I was gonna say, something that really got me on this one that just, at the end, I was like, this makes no sense. So, Arnold, obviously, original Terminator, killed her son. Or one of the original Terminators. They sent him back multiple, which, again, they just throw in these loopholes like, oh, you didn't know from the first, they actually had multiple Terminators. Anyway, comes back, kills her son, goes off to live his life, in the woods.
Grew a conscious,
whatever. Starts sending Sarah texts every month, 2 weeks, whatever they said, giving her a 2 weeks heads up when there's a Terminator being sent back so she can go kill it.
Yep.
If they stop the future, right, and Sarah's under the impression that, she's under the impression that there is no future where the world goes horrible until the cyborg comes back and tells her, because she thinks she stopped it all.
Yep.
She knows nothing about Legion. Then aren't you confused as to why there's Terminator still being sent back?
That future.
If you ended it, then shouldn't you be wondering or asking these Terminators, like, why are you interrogating the cyborg and now shocked about these ones when you've been doing this for the last umpteen years? You've been killing Terminators when you thought you stopped that future.
And how would Arnold know?
Yeah.
Because he's set in the location of that, the Legion one.
Yeah.
It's a completely separate company. It would be on a completely separate database.
Yeah, he's like, he is the energy pulse that he senses or something like that. And I'm like,
there's a big hole there that doesn't make sense.
Yeah, they didn't fully go
answers.
And I hate when movies assume that the audience is stupid.
Yeah.
I hate when they do that because it's like, we're not dumb. I'm gonna fixate on this one stupid detail.
Yeah.
Even though the movie is dumb and I just don't care anymore, we're still gonna talk about this, James. And I'm upset at James Cameron. Yeah, they need to elaborate on that a bit more. I felt like after you read the description that you knew how the story was going to end.
Mm-hmm.
It was one of those where I didn't need to. I didn't necessarily need to go see it, especially once it started. I'm like, oh, this is just Terminator. This is literally the first Terminator, the second Terminator. We already know how it's going to end. So again, I really hope that they don't make any more. All in all, though, it was. Like I said, it wasn't a great movie, and it sucks because the first three were good, and I'm mad almost that why did I go see this? Because now it's gonna taint it a little bit for me. The I'll be back. Did you hear when he said when she said I'll be back, and then he said I won't be? I was like, this is so
also
cheesy.
The most nonchalant goodbye I've ever seen.
Yeah.
It was like a hug and a pat on the back.
Yeah,
family, the boy you've raised
right?
Since birth. He's like, goodbye, I won't be back, and then he just walks away, and they just drive off. And
yeah. There were no tears.
Yeah,
there were
like
nothing. Like he's like, I told them one day my past would catch up to me.
Exactly.
And it was like, all right, well, like the goodbye was like he was going on like a work trip for a weekend.
Yeah,
now he was gonna go die.
Exactly.
Like so, yeah, that was super nonchalant. It was a really unnecessary movie to make. I think that's the best way to put it. You know, with movies, I've said this on here before. If you make more than one, to me, you have to make it a case for it. So they made a case for the second one because obviously after the first, you're like, okay, well, what about when she has the kid? Like, are they going to stop? No, they don't stop. Then obviously there's that looming. When is Doomsday? Like, when is this day going to happen? When everything goes to hell, basically. So the first three made sense. By this one, like I said, they need to stop. I think some movie franchises, and we were talking about this at the very beginning of the podcast, they become less iconic if you keep dragging them out. If you don't know when to stop, they become. And again, Star Wars is on that cusp. I mean, luckily, Star Wars is just such a big thing. It's too big now to where I don't think they can do anything to really mess up the franchise. And they're all these movies are still making a ton of money. So even if people like me are like, it's not that great, or some staunch Star Wars fan is like, the first three are the only good Star Wars, it doesn't really matter. They're still selling a ton of money. Video games, cartoons, toys, all that stuff. But this one I think is becoming less iconic. Like, I think if they would have stopped at 3, it would have been more respected.
You just let it go.
Yeah. I think you see that with. I think the best example of that is with artists or athletes. With musical artists, where I think a good example of that is like a Lil Wayne. Where like Lil Wayne now, like he's coming out with stuff. You're like, what is this, man? Like, I think if Lil Wayne dropped an album right now, the hype around it would not be nearly as big. I know it wouldn't be nearly as big as like the Carter 3.
Oh, no,
not even close. The Carter 5 came out and it was like an afterthought, I think, for a lot of people.
Yeah.
Who previously growing up would have been like really respecting them. So I think that you lose a little bit of that. You never want to do that, and you never, as an athlete, you never want to play washed. So I think someone who's like was in danger of that is like a Dwayne Wade. It was like, we love you. You're one of the greats. Everyone, especially our generation, grew up with Dwayne Wade.
Exactly.
You're not Dwayne Wade anymore. You're not Flash anymore.
Yeah.
We see highlights of it where you might hit a game winner last season or something like that, but you're not that guy. You're coming off the bench, so we don't want to see that. So I'd rather you go out on top. Vince Carter. I mean, Vince Carter is just like, now it's just, he went the route of, okay, I've played so long washed, then now I just need to break a record.
Exactly.
So now he's broken the record as being, having the most seasons, the oldest guy to have whatever the record
might
is.
As well, yeah.
But so it's he's at that point where I think maybe 3 seasons ago he realized like, okay, it's, if I retire now, then like I'm almost hurting my legacy. But if you wait until you break a record, and let's say he gets a dunk off this season or something like that.
He gets one good highlight this season. Yeah,
that's it. Yeah. So like he had a dunk last year on someone, which is insane that
he still is able to do that.
It's crazy. It is nuts. But like Steph Curry is out here like missing dunks, and like Vince Carter can still dunk on a person. So it is nuts. It just speaks to his athleticism and how he's taking care of his body. But you are at risk of doing that. Also, the trend continues with girl power films. So I've talked about that on this podcast a ton because a ton of films I've reviewed have had, even if they weren't girl power films, have incorporated a bit of that in the movie. And I think that is a large part because of the the Me Too movement, and also just in general the increasing push for minority inclusion and stuff. So in this one you see not only is she a female lead, but also she's Mexican, and she's in the U.S. illegally. So again, it hits a lot of cylinders there, things that are being talked about a ton in the country. But it felt a lot like Ocean's 8, where it was like, we're going to make this film, and it's not necessary for the franchise, but we're going to do it for a different reason. So like Ocean's 8, I don't think they made Ocean's 8 because it was the much needed 4th installment of the Ocean's franchise. It was, hey, we're going to do a girl power film with a bunch of stars. This one, same thing. I think you have 3 strong women, very strong women. You have Arnold in there, who's almost, again, an afterthought. He's kind of a side character. Exactly. Who was the biggest thing in the previous Terminator. So I think, he takes a side role, and now it's like, hey, we have these women. So that's the thing that makes me think that they might mess around and try to make more. Based on I think because of the reception of this one, they probably won't do that. Yeah. I don't know. They did after the 4th.
It was interesting to see that in this movie, though. Yeah. I agree with you. Some of them are forced. Yeah. This one was less so. Like,
it wasn't as forced,
It wasn't as forced. Like, it really, like, I could tell right away when Sarah Connor was like, they're after your kid. I knew right then. I was like, they're not after
Yep,
her.
yep.
I was
of
like,
course.
they're after her. She's the leader. I knew right away, and that's good.
Yeah,
that's good.
It is.
I, as a person, I can tell right away. I'm like, she's a leader. You can tell, and it's her. So it's. I mean, that's great to see that, but this one I thought was a little less forced.
Yeah, I agree. It was. This one was more tasteful for sure.
Was. It
wasn't cheesy. I didn't, and again, yes, it was clear, like, okay, she's gonna be the leader, and they, especially when she was like, oh, they don't want you, they want what's in your womb. Again, they said enough to where it was like,
it's like I felt uncomfortable.
Yeah,
and I was like, okay, it's definitely not. Yeah,
it's not her son. So so they said enough there, and then it really hit me like towards the end. When she's getting in the car with Sarah, and it's like seems like it's gonna be like them, like Thelma and Louise, like them against the world, and I'm like, okay, so this was really that was the point of this movie. It kind of came full circle for me, so I do like seeing that. It's good. I mean, I think whenever you can do, and I've said it time and time again on here, whenever you can do minority inclusion and it's organic, then it's good. I hate when it's just like, oh, we just threw like a black character in there because we just had to do it to like fill a quota or like whatever to like reach a certain demographic marketing wise. Like you can tell when that's the point.
Yeah.
And when it's organic, it's super obvious. But when it's organic, I'm like, cool, I'm all here for it. And I think a lot of times filmmakers or marketers feel like, ooh, if we do it, then that demographic is just going to be happy that we did it anyway. It's like, no, that's not the case. Like I don't go to a movie and I'm like, I'm not looking for like the black guy in a movie. Like, no, I'm just trying to watch a good movie.
Exactly.
And if it's there's a good story about an African-American male, then cool, but I'm not going and giving you my money because you did that. So
organic and tasteful.
Exactly. Absolutely. So they did a good job with it as far as that is concerned with the movie, incorporating that. What would you rank this on a scale of 1 to 10?
1 to 10. I'll give it a 6, just based on the action.
That's nice. That's a nice rating. I gave it a 4.7.
Okay.
Gave it a 4.7, but again, they did some nice things. The action was good. Like I said, the female inclusion was good. The acting wasn't bad. Honestly, that the acting wasn't poor.
No.
It just was an unnecessary movie to make. That's really where the rating comes from. Is it's just kind of like, I mean, I've seen this movie.
Yeah.
I've seen this already. Like I've seen this exact story.
And the holes you mentioned already.
The holes that just didn't make sense. The time travel stuff.
Yeah.
I think they messed themselves up with the last one, with the Genesis one, where they're changing timelines. So you can only do the changing timelines once. Like if Endgame, like if they came up with another Avengers and they changed the timeline again, I think everyone would be like, all right, come on.
Like
in this one, Iron Man doesn't die.
And, Iron Man's back. It's like, no, he's not.
Yeah, you're taking away from the other one.
Exactly.
So I think that's what they kind of did with this one. Where would you advise someone to go see this opening night? $5 Tuesday, Netflix, or don't watch it all?
I do Netflix.
Okay, that's what I said too. I'd say if you're a huge Terminator or Arnold fan, and you've seen the other 5, and you just want to close the circle here, go ahead and watch it on Netflix. It'll when it comes out there. So, yeah. Any upcoming movies you're looking forward to?
Avatar. Now that I know that.
Yeah, all the Avatars.
What are the Marvel ones coming up? Are there any?
The Eternals is coming up. I don't know when that's coming out though. I have to look it up.
Yeah. What else? What else is coming out soon?
I think Disney is their biggest push right now is that Disney Plus platform that's coming out next week, and then Star Wars.
Star Wars.
So
for sure, see Star Wars.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
For me, it's not a movie but a show, The Morning Show, which is on Apple TV Plus, which is their streaming platform that they're trying to develop. It's already out, so The Morning Show I think has already put out a couple episodes, but it's Steve Carell, excuse me, Reese Witherspoon, and Jennifer Aniston.
Nice.
So I like all of them, namely Steve Carell. Steve Carell is one of my favorite actors of all time, and it's the description for it is an inside look at the lives of the people who help America wake up in the morning, exploring the unique challenges faced by the men and women who carry out this daily television ritual. So it's a drama. So it looked interesting. I saw it, information about it. I mean, a year ago.
Yeah.
They've been talking about it. So I don't know if I actually pull the trigger and get Apple TV Plus.
Good.
There's a 7-day trial, so I can easily binge a show in 7 days. So I might just do that.
Have you seen Succession yet on HBO?
Oh no! You know what?
Oh my god.
Okay. I got to do it. I got to watch.
Oh,
the reason I haven't watched it is not because I don't think it's good. It's just because I I'm like in the process of watching like 3 other shows.
Yeah.
And I need to like, I know that that's gonna be like all my energy show where I'm just gonna like get home and watch that until I finish it.
Oh, it's great.
But you're like probably the 4th person in the last month to tell me I need to watch it. Okay,
it's amazing.
So how many seasons are they in?
2 right now.
They're 2 right now.
Yeah, and I'm waiting for the 3rd.
Okay, got it. All right, well I'll make sure to watch that. Do you have anything else to add?
That's it. Thanks again for having me out.
Yeah, for sure, man. Appreciate you coming on. Like I said, long time coming. We've been talking about having you on when I first started the podcast, which was funny.
Maybe I'll be back for Avatar 5, man.
I did, right, yeah. Yeah, 2027, we'll be back. So be looking for TR then. Everyone, thanks for listening. Until next week, peace.